The world is changing, and we are entering a new era in terms of the way people do business. There are now tons of people who work for themselves online, and I'm not saying it's easy to do, but it has worked for me over time. And I'll break that down in just a minute. If you're here right now, it's because you want to build an online business. So pay attention, because I'm going to be sharing what I personally would recommend to beginners who want to start a business themselves. I think this is a pretty good business model to consider, one that you can start from almost anywhere with relatively low costs, and I'll explain why I think this approach has a lot of potential. Although, like any other business, success depends on your consistency, effort, and many other factors. Now, to be 100% transparent, even though I've gotten great results doing this, it does not mean that you will. After all, I'm the one who created and refined this system, and my reputation and success are based upon me being transparent. So I cannot guarantee that you're going to get the results like the ones that I've gotten. But what I can guarantee is that I'm going to show you what I personally would recommend to beginners right now. Now, in case we haven't met before, my name is Matt Parr, and if you're looking for a good online business to start without having to spend years working 8 hours a day just to make decent money, and without having to sell tens of thousands of products just to break even, factoring in ad costs and other costs, then you're in the right place right now. In the next 33 minutes, I'm going to walk you through a 4-step approach to online business, and I'll share with you what I've learned about this business model and how it can potentially create income for those willing to put in consistent effort. I'll share a lot of what I believe you need to know, but if you can't spend 33 minutes to invest in your own financial future, this probably is not for you anyways. Everything that I'm sharing comes from my personal real-world experience, and I personally have been making money online since 2014. I built multiple different businesses, including a bunch of different faceless YouTube channels, some with over 1 million subscribers, a personal YouTube channel with over 800,000 subscribers, 2 software companies, a travel app, an info product company, and I personally make thousands per month from affiliate commissions alone. Now let's talk about what makes a business beginner-friendly, at least in my personal opinion. Take this for what you will. You see, most people rush into the popular business models out there, whether it's SMMA or social media marketing agencies, dropshipping, or Amazon FBA, without understanding the fundamentals. And that's why most people fail. These models do have potential, a lot of people do have good success with them, but they're not easy for beginners in my opinion. It's like trying to play a video game on the hardest difficulty setting without any practice. Most people just spin their wheels and lose money. Now, the business model that I'm going to be sharing with you today that I personally recommend works well for 3 different reasons. Number 1 is that it's beginner friendly. Number 2 is that it operates on a booming platform with very high demand. And number 3, it taps into the creator economy, which you might have heard of, which is taking the world by storm. But it doesn't require you to be a traditional creator, but we'll get into that in just a second. Now imagine if you actually analyze the key factors that makes an online business successful before you went ahead and just jumped straight into one of these businesses. Let's do that together right now. In order to do that, you need to break down a business into the simplest way possible. And the best way of looking at businesses like this is to break it down into 3 parts. Now I know there's more that goes into running businesses. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, but at a very basic level, businesses consist of marketing, sales, and fulfillment. Marketing is how much it costs to acquire a customer. And most people don't know this, but there are business models out there where there's actually not much of a cost associated with getting customers. And in some cases, in a way that I'm going to show you, it can actually be considered a negative cost. And I'll explain exactly to you what that means. Sales is how easy it is to turn people from your marketing into customers. What if I told you that you could sell without huge sales teams, even if you're sleeping, traveling, or doing anything with your time? Yes, this does take a good amount of time to set up in the beginning, but once it is, that is possible. I literally wake up every day today making money while I sleep. Now, like I said, I'm a professional. I've been doing this for over 10 years at this point. Do not expect these results immediately. Most people don't make anywhere near the amount of money that I make, to be clear about this. And finally, fulfillment is how easy it is to deliver the product to the person who bought after they bought. Most businesses have to spend tons of money on shipping out products to customers, or they have to spend an insane amount of time delivering to those customers, like in SMMA, for example, where you have to run someone's social media, which can take you all day. And the more clients, the more problems, generally speaking. Now, in order to have a beginner-friendly business, there's 3 additional main metrics that I recommend taking a look at: upfront cost, profit margin, and passiveness. Now let's use these 6 metrics to judge the 6 most common online businesses that I see out there. First, let's take a look at dropshipping. This is where you sell a physical product, but instead of having to hold on to the inventory and manage all of that yourself, you only ship the product from the supplier once a customer places that order. So you never even have to touch the product, meaning you don't have to spend money buying stock before selling it. Now that's great in terms of fulfillment. However, what most people don't tell you is that you have to invest a lot of money into ads to find products that will work. This can significantly reduce profit margins, and it's important to understand that gross revenue and net profit are very different things in terms of dropshipping. The advertising cost required to find winning products is typically a lot, which means that after expenses, the actual profit that people are making with this business model may be much lower than the sales figures you see thrown around online. Next, let's look at affiliate marketing. Like I said, I make a decent amount with affiliate marketing, but I think that most people go about doing it the wrong way. Now, if you're not familiar, affiliate marketing is where you promote other people's products and you get a commission from them. Now, upfront costs with this is typically low, which is nice, and fulfillment is relatively simple due to the fact that you're not the one fulfilling the product, the vendor of that product is. But the problem is marketing, finding a good product, and profit margins. A lot of people promote affiliate products through paid ads, which incurs giant marketing expenses. Affiliate commissions can vary wildly depending on the product that you're promoting. For example, some platforms pay you as little as 10% of the product you're promoting, and if it's a $100 product, you're only making $10. I see a lot of products that pay only $20 to $50 per sale. There's a lot of affiliate products that pay more than that, but if you're promoting something $20 to $50, you would need to sell 500 units per month just to make $10,000 per month, and that's incredibly hard to do. Now let's look at SMMA. This stands for Social Media Marketing Agency, and it's where you manage other people's social media for a monthly retainer fee. The marketing for this is incredibly hard because usually it involves hours and hours of manual outreach to people, begging them to basically run their social media for them, many of which these people are already successful on social media themselves, or their businesses where they're just paying an employee to do that for them. You have to spend all day reaching out to businesses. It's very hard to sell to them. Fulfillment then is very difficult as well because it basically just gives you another 9-to-5 job. Now that being said, you can hire people eventually, but it's certainly not passive. It's not something that I personally would want to be doing with my time, and it's not something I could recommend. Now, what about Amazon FBA, where you sell physical products on Amazon, and Amazon fulfills the orders for you? The amount you make per product sold is typically anywhere from $20 to $300 based on what I've seen talking to people who do this business. So you're gonna face that same exact issue as affiliate marketing in that you need 33 to 500 sales per month, which can be very hard. Plus, you typically need to invest $1,000 to $6,000 in stock for products that you don't even know will sell or not. There's a big risk of getting stuck with a lot of products. My parents actually tried a business similar to this when I was growing up, and I remember that our basement was just completely filled with products that people didn't buy, and it was a very stressful thing. Marketing with this can be kind of nice though, due to the fact that Amazon does a lot of the marketing for you. You can buy ads on Amazon also, which will, of course, even reduce your profit more. But in general, it's nice that Amazon has the marketplace. In theory, Amazon does marketing for you. However, in reality, you're competing against thousands of other products, many of which likely sell the same thing. And it's typically, from what I've personally seen, a race to the bottom of who can have the cheapest price, which means the least profit margins for you. Now let's talk about print on demand. This is where you sell custom designed products like t-shirts or mugs that are only printed once a customer places an order. Again, pretty low profit margins with this. It's hard to market. When's the last time you've bought a t-shirt or a mug or something just from an advertisement? And it's not a business that personally I would find much fulfillment or enjoyment in running, so it's not one I could recommend. Now let's talk about freelancing. This is where you offer services like writing, graphic design, or video editing on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. This is very hard to compete against all the other freelancers on those platforms, which again makes it kind of like a race to the bottom of who can offer their services at the cheapest price. So marketing is very hard. Profit margins can be high if you're doing it all yourself, but you only have so many hours in the day to be fulfilling for clients, so there's pretty much no passiveness to this. You're just trading your time for money in a different way, and in my opinion, it's super risky. Now at this point, you can probably see why it's pretty hard to succeed as a beginner at online business if you don't pick the right business to begin with. At this point, you're probably asking, okay, Matt, what is the business that you personally would recommend? Does that even exist? Well, let's take a look at the table that we made, judging all the different factors between all these different businesses, and put together an ideal online business, at least through my eyes. Let's start with marketing. For marketing, it should be a relatively low time investment and cash cost in order to get sales. Now, if it actually costed nothing to do marketing, that would be absolutely amazing. And when I say that, if you look at it in a certain way, it can actually be a negative marketing cost. Most people don't believe me, but I'm gonna try my best to break this all down. When it comes to sales, ideally, it wouldn't require you to be sitting on Zoom calls selling people. Ideally, you would rather have other people do this for you, or even better, we could have something that sells itself without you having to directly one-to-one sell to people at all hours of the day. Now, another quick disclaimer, what I'm describing here is the ideal online business. The business that I'm gonna show you that I personally would recommend doesn't meet all of these requirements, but I personally believe it falls in line closer to these requirements than the other online businesses I showed you. A lot of people would disagree with me on some of these things, and that's totally fine. I'm just trying to help. Now, for fulfillment, we don't want to have to be manually fulfilling stuff, meaning doing services, shipping products, and we also ideally don't want fulfillment to cost a ton of money either. For upfront costs, for beginners, ideally you want something with a very low upfront cost. Since in my opinion, it's wise to minimize your financial risk while you're still learning and testing what works. Starting with a very minimal investment allows you to gain crucial experience and validate what you're doing before you make bigger financial commitments. Also, the ideal online business would be something that we would want to make a lot of profit from. What's the point of making $1 million a year if you don't keep any of it? It's just a lot of hassle, a lot of time, a lot of energy spent on something where at the end of the day, you don't have anything to take home. As a beginner, you want to keep as much of it as possible. And also, if you do start making some money, you don't want it to start and then immediately stop. Or you have to keep working super hard just to make a decent amount. One of the biggest complaints of having a 9-to-5 job is having to consistently trade your time for money and work on somebody else's goals. And in my opinion, that's not really working for anything permanent for yourself. We want a business that's as passive as possible, so we do the work once and we can benefit from it for years. Now, with all of these criteria, I can confidently say that there's one single business that I personally know of that gets as close to them as possible. Now again, this is just my personal opinion, take it for what you will, but in my opinion, the business model that I would do if I was starting over from absolute scratch is running YouTube channels like a business and monetizing them correctly in some ways that you've probably never even thought of. The startup costs for creating YouTube content is typically very low compared to other business models. You can get started with basic equipment that most people already have, such as a smartphone or a computer, although you can invest in better equipment, of course, as your channel grows. Some of the only things you need are an internet connection and a YouTube account. Also, in terms of profit margins, they can be quite high due to the fact that it's completely digital content. And if you generate the videos yourself, and the only thing you pay for is maybe a couple AI subscriptions to help you, it can be potentially pretty good. There's no physical products to manufacture and ship, and videos you upload can keep getting views for a long time in the future. 90% of your videos won't do that, but I personally love the fact that it's possible. For marketing, it really just consists of understanding the YouTube algorithm, understanding what YouTube really wants, and generating content in line of what YouTube wants. Most people have no idea how to do this. 99% of people who run YouTube channels do it the wrong way, in my opinion. I'm going to show you some things on this training today that will hopefully help you a lot in terms of that. For sales, you can monetize directly on YouTube. It does take some time to build your channel to the point where you actually get monetized, and not everybody does, but you can also sell digital products from your channel that also have very low fulfillment costs due to the fact that they're digital. You don't have to ship any physical product out. And it can be pretty passive in my opinion due to the fact that you can upload videos that can keep getting views for a long time. Like I mentioned, not all of your videos will do this, but I personally still make money from videos that I uploaded when I was just 14 or 15 years old. How many other businesses can you honestly say the same for? Now let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a YouTube channel that was operating that got tons of views, it had tons of subscribers, but the person running the channel never even showed their face? More than likely, The answer to that question is probably yes. And this is an actual business that a lot of people run that I like to call running YouTube niche channels. I've had a lot of success with faceless YouTube niche channels, but I do want to be clear that my results are not typical and they do not represent what most people should expect. But the beautiful thing is that the secrets and the techniques that I'm going to be sharing with you on this training today also have worked really good for my personal brand channel as well. So if you do want to show your face, that's also an option as well. Now let's take a step back here, because you're probably asking yourself, okay, but I don't know how to create viral YouTube content and I don't want to be a YouTuber. And that leads us directly to the new AI arbitrage economy. And it breaks down to this. The people that I personally have seen doing very well with YouTube niche channels are not sitting down themselves and recording and editing and doing everything that goes into making videos on every video that they upload. For example, Uber doesn't own any cars, Airbnb doesn't own properties, and TikTok doesn't create the majority of their content. Yet these are all very successful companies. This shows how businesses can create value by connecting supply and demand, rather than owning the underlying assets. They find customers with a problem and connect them to a solution, all under their own brand, so they have a solid markup on the services. What we do is kind of similar, but in a different vertical, in a different industry, that I like to call content arbitrage. And this consists of finding contractors to create really good and inexpensive content for us, and also complement this using AI tools to do a lot of the work as well now. And the beauty of niche YouTube channels is the fact that you can run multiple different channels in multiple different niches without ever showing your face. You hire script writers, voice actors, video editors, and even use AI tools to replace a lot of the people that in the past you'd have to spend a lot of money hiring. And don't worry, these same exact tactics work also incredibly well for personal brand channels if you did want to show your face, like I'm doing right here, for example. But in my opinion, this is a good beginner-friendly business because you don't have to deal with inventory or shipping. You don't have to make hundreds of sales on products to make a decent income. You don't have to invest thousands upon thousands of dollars to get the business running if you don't want to. You certainly can if you want to get additional training or pay people off the bat to do the work for you. And you can scale to running multiple channels once you've systematized your first channel. So now let's go over the 4 steps for setting this up. And these consist of picking a good niche that has the potential of having a high CPM, and I'll explain to you exactly what that means. Monetizing your channel from day one using a unique strategy that I like to call the flywheel strategy, generating content with the help of AI and or freelancers, and scaling by reinvesting your profits to launch multiple channels. If you do this right, you can potentially get to the point where you're running multiple channels. And one of the best advantages of YouTube over so many other platforms out there is that videos can keep generating views and even potential revenue over time, even after they're published. Now again, most videos don't do that, but the fact that a few can is incredibly amazing to me. Now let's start with step number 1, which is picking a niche and a way of doing YouTube. A niche is simply a category of content. A lot of people get hung up on this first step, or they choose the wrong niche. So I'm gonna help you prevent that by sharing what are, in my opinion, some of the best niches to do this. The main best niches, in my personal opinion, on YouTube are health, wealth, happiness, relationships, travel, and technology. You might be asking, Matt, why are these the best niches? Well, in my opinion, the best niches on YouTube meet several criteria. They have videos going up on them that regularly get over 100,000 views. This therefore proves there's high demand in that topic. They have a decent to a high CPM. Now, CPM stands for cost per milli, and it generally describes how much money you make per 1,000 views on your channel. And this is generally used when describing ad revenue. Now, having a high CPM means that you choose a topic that a lot of advertisers are putting ads on, so it can be higher than a lot of other topics or niches out there. This allows you to have the potential of making a decent amount, even if you don't get tons of views. And the best niches are the ones that have alternative monetization sources. Most people don't realize that the real money that's made on YouTube, in my opinion, from what I've seen, and where most of my money is made, is from alternative monetization sources, including affiliate marketing and digital products. And the niches that I just went over meet all of those criteria. You might be saying, Matt, that's great. Those are some of the best niches, but aren't there tons of different subcategories under that, under the ones that you just listed? And my answer to that is yes, there are. And I would actually recommend choosing one of those subcategories rather than just doing the broad topic in general, for a few different reasons. Number one is that when you have a video take off, it will then feed all of the other videos on your channel, and you'll have a higher view to subscriber ratio, because people will see that all the other videos on your channel are related to the topic of the video they just watched and that they liked, so they'll subscribe in higher quantities. And you'll be able to implement my strategies for getting views that I think are very important. So here's some examples of subcategories with examples of channels as well. Let's start with travel. Now, under the broad category of travel, there's also lots of sub-niches. For example, one of them are travel lists and travel news. Take a look at this channel called Discover the Globe, which is completely faceless, that at the time of me filming this video, gets millions of views per month. Their most popular video is a little bit of a controversial one, titled 10 Countries That Americans Are Not Welcome. And it has over 3.9 million views. And in 1 year, this channel was able to get 292,000 subscribers. I really want to stress that these are not typical results at all, but I want to show you some of these channels so you can see what other people are doing. Now, if you watch any of the videos on this channel, you'll notice that they're literally just stock footage with a voiceover on top of them. Most of the creation of these videos could easily be outsourced to AI, if you do it the right way. YouTube only allows AI in certain ways, and we'll get into that in a second. But another sub-niche under travel could be the best places to live. And this channel called Scary Harry does very similar to that first channel, but it more so focuses on the best places to retire, to live, the cheapest places to live, and so on. You could also even do travel guides. For example, this channel called Touropia does just that. Now, speaking of the health niche, sub-niches under that could include gaining muscle. A lot of the videos on the Body Hub channel talk about just that. Another sub-niche could be losing weight, and a lot of the videos on this Bestie Health channel that has over 4 million subscribers talk about that. And another sub-niche could be natural remedies, like what this channel called Natural Cures talks about. Now, another very good niche in my opinion is the wealth niche, and sub-niches under that include making money online. Now, a quick disclaimer, if you do this niche, make sure to give lots of disclaimers. Do not tell people that it's easy to make money online, because it isn't. And overall, you do want to be very careful with this niche, but it's a niche that I personally am in. And some of my first videos were literally just screen recording videos where I didn't even show my face. Other sub niches under wealth include luxury. Channels like Mr. Luxury and A-Lux make videos about that. And also business stories, which channels like Magnets Media do very well with. Now, for happiness, this could generally include a lot of like psychological concepts. And if we're talking about ancient wisdom, there's channels that do very simple whiteboard videos that you can get a software to generate a lot of those types of videos for you, such as Philosophies for Life. And another sub niche under this could be confidence, and channels like Brainy Dose and Charisma on Command talk about that. For relationships, sub niches could include how to get a girlfriend, how to get a boyfriend, how to get your ex back, and how to fix relationship problems. For technology, you could do technology tutorials, like this channel called Brett in Tech, which has over 1 million subscribers, or you could talk about futuristic, cutting-edge technology, such as TechZone, which has over 4 million subscribers. Now, those are the sub-niches under some of the best niches that we discussed earlier. However, there are channels succeeding in other niches other than those ones that we just mentioned. Now, these niches might make less money on average per 1,000 views from what I've seen from experience, but they can still get millions of views, which can in some ways make up for that. Some random niches I've seen that do very well include scary videos, such as the channel Chills, animal videos, celebrities, like the channel Nikki Swift talks about, cars, like the channel Modern Muscle talks about, food, like the channel Mashed shows, and 360 videos. Now keep watching, because I'm going to be sharing some more additional high CPM niches in just a second, but I just really quickly want to say that if you're thinking about doing a niche that wasn't listed here, feel free to maybe explore that, because I did not just give you an exhaustive list of every single niche out there. There are certain tools that you can use to see if a niche is viable, and we'll be getting into that a bit later. But now it's time for step number 2, which is to monetize first. What most people do on YouTube is that they post videos and then they hope to make money later. In my opinion, that's the wrong way of approaching things. If you want to monetize your channel the most effectively, you must do so from day one. Now, most channels have to wait until they have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time to qualify for monetization. So you might be asking, Matt, what do you mean by monetize first? Now, don't get me wrong. YouTube ad revenue is amazing. It still makes me a decent amount of money, but it goes up and down a lot, at least for me. I would never trust my entire business on YouTube ad revenue alone. And I think that the people who do are putting all of their eggs into one basket. Channels can get demonetized for reasons that you might not agree with. Ad rates can fluctuate. And for that reason, you need to monetize the smart way. The amount you can make from ad revenue can comparatively be very small compared to the amount you can make with alternative methods. And what's interesting is that these alternative methods, a lot of them don't require you waiting to hit those monetization requirements, so you can do them from the beginning. And when I say monetize first, what I mean is to choose a niche and a way of doing YouTube that allows you to do one of these monetization methods. It doesn't mean that you're gonna make money the first day on your channel. Now, before we get into those alternative ways, let's talk about YouTube's built-in monetization, which is YouTube ad revenue. For this, you need 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. If you implement the right strategy, this can happen quicker than a lot of people think, but for a lot of channels, they never get monetized at all, or it takes a super long time. Now, as I talked about earlier, CPMs can fluctuate wildly, so some channels can make $1 per 1,000 views, and others can make $30+ per 1,000 views. So how can you get the highest CPM possible to maximize ad revenue the most? This involves choosing what I like to call a high CPM niche, which is one that a lot of advertisers want to advertise on. Now, my methodology for finding these high CPM niches is both a mix of my personal experience running channels, as well as looking at what the top advertisers on YouTube are, which include Apple, which would mean that tech videos likely have a high CPM, because if Apple's smart, they're gonna be putting their ads on tech videos. And Expedia, which is in the travel niche, meaning that travel videos typically have a decent CPM. I've also correlated that with talking with people who run channels in that niche. But here's the full list of high CPM niches right here. Now, a trick to make as much money as possible from ads is once you get monetized, make sure to produce videos that are longer than 8 minutes. This allows you to put multiple ad breaks throughout your videos so you can multiply your revenue. Now, let's say you have a stream of income coming in from ad revenue. That's awesome. But how can we increase it even more? And how can we monetize from the beginning, like I like to say? Well, think about it like this. If companies are so willing to spend a lot of money on ads to put ads on your videos, you have to wonder why. And the reason is because they're likely profitable from those ads, or at least break even from the products that they're selling from them. They're getting some type of benefit from those ads that outweighs the cost. Now, I personally have had success with using some of these alternative monetization methods, but I can't share specific numbers because it wouldn't be representative of typical results. I don't want you to get the wrong idea, but I will show you the methods. Let's start with digital products. This is my personal favorite way of monetizing with YouTube from the beginning, and the best types of digital products are online courses and software, in my opinion. Now, software is typically very hard to start, even though I run several software companies now, including TubeMagic and VidAI. These have costed me a lot of money to set up. That being said, I've also sold online courses, and a course doesn't cost much money to set up. You just need a subscription to a platform like Kajabi, and you might be saying, but Matt, doesn't it take a ton of time to create an online course? And my answer to that is yes, it does. But if you know something that other people want to learn about, in my opinion, it's a pretty good idea to do that. It's been worth it for me. But if you don't have the knowledge to create an online course, then you can do our next alternative monetization method, which is affiliate marketing somebody else's course or somebody else's software. The benefit of this is you don't have to own a course or a software yourself, but you can promote somebody else's. There's also some secrets to take this to the next level, such as implementing things like bridge pages, collecting emails, doing email marketing. But one of the biggest complaints with this is that there's not a product within the niche that you want to do. Most people don't know where to find the best products to do this. Now, another way of monetizing is sponsorships. I've made a decent amount of money with sponsorships over the years. It's not been my primary revenue source by any means. You do have to deal with emailing companies back and forth. But once you have a pretty decent sponsor for your channel, once it's grown to a significant size, you can a lot of times keep that relationship for a while, and sometimes they'll book consistently from your channel. Also, you can do services or consulting, but generally, I recommend if you have knowledge, package it into an online course so people can buy at any time. Plus, you can scale as much as you want due to the fact that you're not limited by your time having to jump on one-on-one Zoom calls with people, for example. Now, the worst ways of monetizing, in my opinion, are merch because typically you make a low amount per sale unless you're just outrageously charging for it, and memberships, including things like Patreon or YouTube memberships. And the reason I say that is I've seen multiple channels online that have millions of subscribers that barely make anything with a membership. So now you know the right ways and the wrong ways to monetize your channel from the beginning so you can monetize first. Now let's talk about step 3, which is generating videos. Now most people go about generating videos for their channels completely wrong. Most people think that they should just upload a bunch of different videos to YouTube. Hopefully some of them get views. Hopefully they make some money from some. That's the wrong way of approaching things, in my opinion. The best way of approaching things is to build things in what I like to call my flywheel VSL method. This method consists of making one very long video that sells something at the end of it. And then all of the other videos on your channel that you upload all have a verbal call to action and an end screen at the end of their videos, all directing traffic to that one super long video that sells something at the end of it. The reason I recommend this is that if you have a few videos blow up, they'll all be driving traffic to that long form video that sells something, enabling you to make a lot more money per view. This also helps grow your channel a ton because there's a metric that not many people know about on YouTube, which is called session time. Now this isn't publicly shown on YouTube, but it makes sense that if YouTube is in the business of keeping people on its platform as long as possible, it monitors the session times of its users. And if you direct people to a very long video after watching one of your shorter videos, then on average, you'll get a higher session time. Plus, you get the bonus of also keeping people on your channel, so your watch time and audience retention also goes up. So there's so many benefits to this. I couldn't recommend it more. The flywheel VSL method is amazing. Now, when it comes to actually generating the content, there's several ways to go about it. You can do stock footage in the backgrounds of your videos, like some of those channels we talked about earlier, like Brainydos, for example. You can get stock footage from free stock footage websites like Pixabay or Pexels, or you can even use paid sites like Storyblocks, which I have a subscription to. And then you can edit them together using a completely free program like HitFilm Express, Shotcut, OpenShot, Clipchamp, or iMovie. Or you can pay for a cheap subscription to a software that I personally would recommend, like CapCut. I'm also working on my own software called vid.ai, which by the time you're watching this, it's probably already live, but we're going to be launching a video generator where you can simply type in a prompt and it generates a full long-form video using stock footage. Now, you don't just want to rely on generating videos with AI from scratch, but you also want to add as much value into them as possible. So you want to make sure to manually write portions of your script and give as much value as you possibly can with your videos. I have another AI tool called TubeMagic, in which we are working on the absolute best AI scriptwriter, which will generate portions of the scripts for you in as natural of writing as possible. But I still do recommend going through the scripts, making sure everything makes sense, making sure it's as valuable as possible, and adding your own thoughts and your own input into it as much as you can. The second way of generating faceless content are screen recording videos. Channels like Simon Says It do this. You can get ideas from online articles and guides and then just record your screen showing how to use different software and so on while doing a voiceover over it. And you can use OBS, by the way, for a completely free screen recording software. Some people find OBS a little bit complex. There are free tutorial videos you can watch. I always use OBS, but if it's too complex, you can use Loom, which is free for up to 5-minute recordings, but after that it's a paid subscription. So I typically recommend OBS, which is completely free. The next type of video you can make are slideshow videos, where you record your screen showing a slideshow that you made using something like Google Slides. Here's a video that got 580,000 views. That's literally a slideshow video. The next types of videos are stock photo videos. So you can find stock photos on some of those same websites I referenced earlier. And then you could do something like a scary story video where you're just talking a scary story over that. You can also do whiteboard videos. You can use software like VideoScribe to do these, like that channel Philosophies for Life. You can do animated videos, either using different AI tools or using something like Animaker to make the animations. You can do mind map videos like the channel Joseph Rodriguez does, breaking down complex topics from books into more simple things. And you can also outsource your content creation if you'd like to as well. This is how I'm able to run a bunch of different channels. There's no way I could do it if I was just doing everything myself. And of course, you can run a personal channel if you want. Like for example, I have my personal channel that has over 800,000 subscribers. I outsource portions of it. For example, the editing of my videos, I get other people to do that for me. And I try to make sure that the tactics I'm teaching work for any type of channel. Now, step number 4 is to scale. Now, this step is optional because a lot of times people can reach the results they want just running one channel. Now, I want to be clear that most people who start faceless YouTube channels or do this business don't make any money or very little money. But I also want to make it clear that I think most people do this the wrong way. But if you're happy with the amount that you're making or what you're currently doing with a single channel, by all means, feel free to do that and use your extra time to spend it with family or friends or just doing whatever you want to do with your life. But if you do want to take it to the next level, then scaling is an option where you can reinvest your profits into making more channels in different related niches. But the key word here is related niches. Most people, if they start another channel, it's on a completely separate topic. My recommendation is to have channels on similar topics that can all feed each other. Then we connect all your other channels to your one pillar video on your main channel, all driving traffic to that. And when one channel blows up, not only does that channel get a bunch of views, but now it has the potential of also generating revenue because it's driving traffic to that revenue generating video. Now, I know this all sounds super exciting, but a quick word of warning. If you try to do all of this alone, you'll probably spend a few months trying to figure this out and how you can make this work. Now, this could happen because number one, you chose the wrong niche. Number two, you don't know what to look for when hiring freelancers, what to say to them, how much to pay them, or which AI software to use. Or you might make content that YouTube isn't okay with, and you might put a lot of work into a channel just for it to not work out. Now, if you put in the work to overcome these challenges, it could be worthwhile to the people who stick with it. Speaking from my own personal experience, it's been worthwhile to push through obstacles that I've encountered with doing this over the past 10 years. But I do want to be clear that everybody's experience will be different depending on their unique situations, skills, and commitment level. There is unprecedented demand for content online, and there's only so many good channels that actually know what they're doing. So the question then becomes, how can you do things the right way? Well, the first option is to take all of the information that I gave you today and to try to figure this out all yourself. It's definitely a viable option, and if you feel it's best suited for you, please go ahead. However, just know that you may lose many valuable months or maybe even years trying to figure everything out through trial and error. And long term, at least in my opinion, it's probably going to be more expensive considering you're going to miss out on things that if you knew straight from the beginning what to do could really help you. Plus, in my opinion, your chance of quitting is way up if you don't have people there to help you along the way. And that's why I created Tube Accelerator, which is a program where I try to show you everything that I've learned on my past 10 years on YouTube through doing this, to do this correctly and succeed with it. And that's the second option, to join what is, in my opinion, the best program in the industry for this. Now, Tube Accelerator is way more than just a course. The course is just part of it. My goal is for this to be the best learning experience that you've ever had, where we become your all-in-one stop for YouTube, where we can even help you connect with freelancers by giving you script templates on exactly what to say. Plus, depending how closely you work with me, I could even connect you with some of the freelancers I work with, plus answer your questions. Plus, depending on the level we work together, I could even answer your questions personally along the way. And I really want this to be the best YouTube program out there. And I truly believe that it is, because this is so much different than any other YouTube program out there. Most YouTube automation programs teach to just make a bunch of unrelated random channels that'll probably get demonetized and just spam AI generated videos and hope for the best. I try to teach ways of actually compliantly doing YouTube that YouTube is going to like long term. There's a reason I've been at this for over 10 years at this point, and I've put together actual checklists, processes, and what I like to call a symbiotic system that you can follow for doing YouTube the right way, in my opinion. Now, I want to be clear that even with these processes and checklists and everything else, this is in no ways a guarantee of success. It's really just what I wish I had when I was starting my YouTube journey. Now, this program is broken down into 5 phases. Phase number 1 is the foundation. This goes over exactly what a symbiotic system is. In my opinion, the real way to make a lot of money on YouTube. Again, not a guarantee of making money by any means. The best type of channel for you to start, the best niche you can do, the right way to do YouTube, which is a checklist that you can use, and how to set your channel up. Phase number 2 is monetization, which we'll talk about monetizing first, how I make more money per 1,000 views, how to choose your product and your price if you want to go down that route, how to create what I like to call an MVP, and how to find supplemental affiliate products. Phase number 3 then is the content. This consists of my flywheel strategy, which is one of the most important things of this entire program, and I'll even give you my flywheel script template. I'll show you how to not mess up your video ideas and your scripts and how to do both of those the right way, how to generate faceless content, how to generate personal brand content. I'll even give you a list of all the gear and the tools I use for filming my personal brand content, including cameras and everything else for both my studio and also what I use when I'm traveling like I am right now. Plus, I'll go over a watch time hack that has helped me get very high CPMs. Phase 4 then is the business, where I talk about actually setting this up like a real business, which will go over how to run video series where you have a series of videos that then sell something at the end of them. These can work incredibly good on YouTube. We'll talk about the bridge page, which is what, in my opinion, allows you to build a real business on the back of YouTube, how to use emails to multiply revenue, and how to scale. And then in phase 5, I'll even give you a bunch of resources that you can use, a niche you can use, and I don't recommend using this niche unless literally no other niche that we go over is at all appealing or interesting to you, and a few potential products you can promote. But everything I teach within this program, you can use to promote any product. You can use to promote your own business if you're a business owner as well. And like I said, I'm trying to make this way more than just a course. Along with Tube Accelerator, you also get access to some freelancers that have also helped me generate content for my channels, depending on the level that we work together, at what is, in my opinion, a great price that I already negotiated for you. Now, I do want to give a disclaimer, I do get a cut of that due to the fact that this is my team's time and I put in time for finding these people for you and everything else. And another thing, depending on the level we work together, you could get access to me as well to ask me any questions you have along the way. And then if you want me to shoot a quick Loom video for you or just answer your questions via text, I'm generally happy to do that. I'm actually in the community answering questions regularly, unlike most program owners. And then we're throwing in a bunch of bonuses, which I already talked about a few of them, but they include the Flywheel script video template, the video series script templates, which is super useful and valuable in my opinion. Depending on the level we work together, even a video made completely for you from my team, access to my content team depending on the level we work together, my current gear sheet for both personal brand channels and faceless channels, a channel optimization checklist, a video optimization checklist, a YouTube video script writing checklist, depending on the level we work together, 1 year access to my Tube Magic software, access to all of my other courses such as Tube Mastery, which goes over how to run faceless niche channels, super in-depth with over 100+ lessons, High Payout Partner, which is a super in-depth program on how to do affiliate marketing, Quantum Courses, which teaches exactly how to sell courses the best way possible in my opinion, and a Tube AI system, which is basically Tube Mastery, but with using AI to help with things a lot. Plus, depending on the level we work together, you could also get an onboarding call with my team, with one of my coaches that I've hired that I really trust a lot. And I don't just want to be another course guru who sits here and sells courses, due to the fact that a lot of people who join courses do absolutely nothing with them. In my opinion, people also need accountability, so I'm setting this up so I can work with people more in depth. Then I can build a great content team that helps both me and you. It funds my software companies, where we're trying to build world-class products to really help people. Now, ideally, I really only want to work with people who are serious about doing this. I'm not looking for people who hop from one business model to the other to the next. So if you're just super hyped on this and you're just gonna buy thinking you're gonna make $1 million tomorrow, please do not do that. I want to work with people serious about doing this because honestly, it just makes it fun for both of us. And if that is you, then feel free to click the link down in the description and book a call with our team. On the call, we can discuss if this program might be a good match for you. And I try to instruct my team to be as honest as possible, whether we think our approach aligns with your situation. Now, you might be saying, Matt, what about all the competition on YouTube nowadays? There's thousands of channels out there doing this. How am I gonna stand out if I were to do this? And I do want to admit there's a lot of competition on YouTube. I can't guarantee that if you join my program, you'll be the channel that stands out, but I'm trying to give you as much resources as I possibly can to help you with that. And in my personal opinion, what I've seen on YouTube is, yes, the amount of competition has gone up a lot, but viewership has also increased exponentially. And the amount of channels that actually do things the right way is very limited. There's not many channels that do things the right way, at least in my personal opinion. So I do think there's still an opportunity there for people to come in with new channels. And I see that with myself starting new channels, and I see with random channels popping off on YouTube, like some of the ones we went over earlier that are only a year old that get lots of views. You might also be asking, does this help with personal channels? Which I want to stress, yes, I'm 100% am trying to help with those as well as faceless channels. Both can work incredibly good. You might be asking, is YouTube okay with AI content? Not if it's spammy, not if it's deceptive. They're only okay with it if you provide value to the end viewer and you make it clear that it's not just AI content in the video. And I really try to help you with doing that. So if you're really interested in doing this, and you're interested in getting a guide that helps you along the way with this versus just doing everything through trial and error, then consider Tube Accelerator. feel free to click that link below, schedule a call with my team. I'd love to meet you and connect with you and everything. My name is Matt Parr. I really would love to be a part of your YouTube journey. And if it's not through joining my program, even just watching my channel here, I'm trying to give you as much value as I possibly can, things that I wish I knew when I started on the platform. But hopefully I can help you with your goals. And if you want to join the program, I can't wait to work with you. And hopefully I'll see you there.